One cat, 1,500 miles. No leash, no map, no GPS chip. Just instinct. And what happened to him still doesn't have a real explanation. This is the true story of a house cat who vanished for 14 months, crossed an entire country on foot, and turned up somewhere he had never set foot in before. Scientists still can't fully explain how. Segment 1. The quirk nobody took seriously. It's 1953. In a small town in California, a family shares their home with a cream-colored cat, fearless round dogs, twice his size, the undisputed ruler of every yard on the block. But there was one thing that broke that confidence instantly: the rumble of a car engine. Even from a distance, even through a closed window, it sent him sprinting for cover every single time. No exceptions. The neighbors had seen it happen so often they'd stopped finding it funny and started finding it strange. It seemed like a harmless quirk, the kind of detail you'd forget about next week. It was about to change the entire course of his life. Segment 2. The goodbye. Then came news that tested that fear directly. The family was relocating. Not across town, but all the way to Oklahoma, 1,500 miles away. For most pets, that's a long car ride and nothing more. For this cat, with his car phobia and a slight deformity in his hip, the trip felt physically impossible. The family weighed their options for days, hoping for an alternative that never came. In the end, they made an agonizing choice: leave him behind with a kind neighbor and hope he'd find happiness without them. It felt like the kindest option left. They had no idea that goodbye wasn't the end of the story. It was only the beginning. Segment 3. Gone without a trace. 3 weeks after the family drove away, the neighbor noticed something wrong. The cat was gone, not hiding nearby. Gone. She researched every yard, every alley, every hiding spot she could think of. Nothing. Not wanting to add heartbreak to a family already adjusting to a new home 1,000 miles away, she kept the disappearance quiet. What no one realized was that he wasn't lost at all. He had already started walking. Segment 4. 14 months, 1,500 miles. What followed defies easy explanation. For the next 14 months, this cat crossed terrain he had never seen in his life. Mountain ranges, river crossings, scorching plains, and brutal winters. No scent trail to follow home. No familiar landmarks pointing the way. No one feeding him on schedule. No warm porch to return to at night. Just an unrelenting, almost magnetic pull toward a home he had never actually lived in. Predators, exhaustion, hunger, harsh terrain that would exhaust an experienced hiker. Somehow, none of it stopped him. Imagine doing that without shoes, without a map, without anyone cheering you on. Mile after mile, season after season, he kept moving east. Segment 5. The reunion. Then, in that Oklahoma kitchen, almost 14 months after he disappeared, a cream-colored cat leapt through the open window and landed gently on her shoulder, purring as if no time had passed at all. She wanted to believe it, but could it really be him? After everything that had happened, then her fingers found it. Unmistakable deformity in his left hip. There was no doubt left. It was him. Segment 6. Confirmed. Beyond any doubt. Word reached their old neighbors back in California, who had spent over a year quietly wondering what happened to the cat after he vanished. They had assumed the worst, never expecting to hear about him again. When they traveled to Oklahoma and saw him there, healthy, purring, unmistakably himself, their shock confirmed everything the family already knew. This wasn't a similar-looking cat. It was him, and the story of how he got there started spreading fast. Segment 7. A mystery science still can't solve. The story eventually reached a parapsychologist from Duke University, who traveled to Oklahoma himself to investigate. He interviewed witnesses, examined the evidence, cross-checked every detail he could find, and walked away convinced the story was genuine. But here's the part that truly puzzled him. This cat wasn't homing in on a familiar place he'd lived in for years. He was traveling towards somewhere he had never set foot in before, a house he'd never seen, in a state he'd never visited. Not memory, not scent, not anything in the standard playbook of animal navigation. Something else entirely. Something that, decades later, still doesn't have a clean, scientific explanation. Segment 8. The Legacy. Decades later, this case is still cited as one of the most well-documented, hardest to explain animal homing stories on record. Not because anyone fully understands how he did it, but because it forces an honest question. How much do we really know about the bond between animals and the people who love them? Maybe more than science has caught up to yet. So, what was it? Instinct? An internal compass we don't fully understand? Or something science hasn't even named yet? Drop your theory in the comments. And if a cat walking 1500 miles home just earned a little respect from you, hit subscribe. There are more impossible but true stories like this one waiting for you.